All right, thanks, Lainey. Well, it's time now to answer your legal questions. You can call us now, 256-536-0077. William with our friends at Timberlake, League and Brooks now joining us this morning. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
We're talking about leash laws. So explain what that means here in North Alabama.
Yeah, so it really is dependent upon the municipality in which you reside. But most municipalities throughout North Alabama and southern Tennessee have what are called leash laws, which means if you have your dog out in public, you have to have your dog restrained on a leash, okay? So typically when we see an injury case involving a dog bite, you're gonna have to look at what is either the dangerous propensities of that breed and whether that breed is inherently dangerous by law, right? Maybe a Rottweiler or a Chow Chow. If not, they have what's sort of sometimes colloquially referred to as the one bite rule. Has this dog bitten before? Is this a dangerous dog?
Like a reported bite.
Yeah, and the injured party would have to prove that this dangerous dog, that the owner knew that it was dangerous and that it had bit somebody before. But with leash laws, it basically says, look, if your dog's out in the public, it has to be on a leash, and by the very virtue of you not having your dog leashed, if it were then to attack a child in the park or something like that, then that owner of that dog could have liability to that injured party.
What if the dog gets out? Is it the owner still at fault?
It can be, yeah.
Okay.
And so we've seen cases like that before where, this dog continues to get out from its fence and the owner fails to mitigate that or something along those lines. Now it gets a little bit more difficult when you get out in the county because the county does not have any specific leash laws. But there is a state code section which says you have a duty to restrain your dogs. So you can't just have your dogs out running wild throughout the county and letting them attack people.
So the one bite rule, is that just like one chance for a dog and then if it happens again?
It really has to do more with notice to the owner, right? And so if that dog has bitten before and then the owner is on notice that that dog has what the law calls dangerous propensities. In other words, it has a likelihood to bite again, right? And so it's sort of just a way that the owner gets put on notice that, hey, look, this dog, may do this again in the future. And so you need to be on notice that you need to be extra vigilant with that particular animal to make sure that you don't put it in a situation where
it can do that again.
It can do that again. And sometimes that involves animal control with the particular municipality in which you reside. Sometimes they get involved and they put you on notice. It can be the veterinarian's office that puts you on notice. So lots of different ways that owners can be put on notice. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bite per se. It could just be aggressive behavior.
It sounds like we do have a caller. Jackie, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead with your question.
Okay, something I've always wondered about for years is how come dogs cannot be... Yes, ma'am. Something I've wondered about for many years is why dogs cannot be out running in the neighborhood without a leash, but cats can go up and down and on the top of your cars, and they don't have to be on leashes. And
yeah, fair enough. And I'm not an animal scientist to really be able to give you the science behind it, but I think it has to do with the laws that have been put in place have been due to the aggressive behavior of dogs in the past, right? And there are just certain breeds of dogs who are going to chase, they're going to attack, they're going to do these different things. I think it's a little more rare for that to happen with a cat. They tend to be more interested in smaller animals. They don't tend to chase children on bicycles. They tend to run away if you get too close to them. And so I think it probably has to do with just the behavior of those particular animals, over time. Now, one thing the law does say is, dogs, cats, these are domesticated animals. These are farm animals or domesticated animals. All of these laws revolve around domesticated animals. The law does say if you have what is considered a wild animal, and so that could be a raccoon, that could be maybe a snake, it could be many different things, there is strict liability.
Right.
And with those wild animals, if you have those, you know, if they were to bite just one time, that owner's going to have liability towards the injured party.
All right, well, a lot to take in. If you didn't get your question answered, remember you can always call our friends over at Timberlake League in Brooks. William, thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
We'll be right back.